Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back, Jamie here. Today I'm going to be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Beginning, which was released in 2006, 3 years after the remake, and this is a prequel to that film because of the way it ended with Leatherface getting his arm cut off. You can't really make a sequel to that, so they went with a prequel route. I gotta say, like, this film's not bad. It's not the worst of the series, definitely, but some of the questions, it's like I wasn't really asking. Like, obviously I wanted to know like how they became, like the Sawyers or the Hewitts, whatever you want to call them, but some of the other questions I didn't really need answering, but it's still a decent film, but we'll get into it. Starts off in 1939 at the slaughterhouse, which we've seen quite a lot throughout this film, or, the remake. And there's a woman who's pregnant and she just like starts collapsing and giving birth. And basically they just throw the baby outside. They're like, we don't want anything to do with this, leave it inside the trash or the dumpster or whatever. And then a young version of his mum comes over and finds the baby. She takes him back to the Hewitt house and it's like, that's got to be the ugliest thing I've ever saw. And then it cuts to the title credits. The opening credits show him like growing up and like the town shutting down. It's sort of giving you like, the events just through the title sequence trailer. From there we go to 1969 at the slaughterhouse again. It's been shut down and they tell Leatherface, well, they tell Thomas, I guess his name is, to go home. Like, there's no more meat to cut, just go home. And he's a massive guy, no doubt. It's like a half face mask that he's got at the beginning, which I don't mind the look, but it's not one of my favourites, but it's not one of the worst either. It's like middle road. From there, we're introduced to our four main characters, two brothers, Eric and Dean, and the girlfriends, Chrissy and Baylor. The brothers are going to Vietnam, like the younger one's not been there before, the older one's like trying to force him to do it, and he doesn't want to go. And he's not told his brother, like, I'm going to burn my draft card and all this. His girlfriend knows, but they don't know. Leatherface kills the owner of the slaughterhouse with a hammer, and then he takes his chainsaw, which, again, it's like, what? So the chainsaw was there when he was working, and then that just seems kind of, meh. Like, oh, he got his chainsaw because he killed the owner of the meat factory and then took it home. But we get a sick shot after that of him walking, like, on the road. Like, Texas desert and all that, all grainy, and he's just walking. That is a really good shot. I do love that shot. It's even on the poster as well. So the four of them are on the road driving, and bikers come over and you just start messing with them. They're introducing the biker element because this does come into play later on. The sheriff of the town goes to the Hewitt house, and the actor who plays him, I've seen him like Devil's Rejects and stuff like that, and Rob Zombie films, a lot of them. But he goes to the house, he tells Hoyt, like, oh, there's been a murder, and he starts calling his son and all that. So they get inside the car and go look for him. And he calls him his nephew as well. I always thought Hoyt was his dad, but I guess not. And he's talking, like, on the car ride, like, oh, well, everyone's moved out. I'm the only, police enforcement left inside town. And they find Bubba on the road, and he gets out, and he's like, oh, put down the weapon. And then Hoyt grabs his shotgun, the sheriff's shotgun out the car, comes over and just blows him away. He goes, oh shit, I just killed the whole sheriff's department. And then of course he puts the outfit on, and that's how we find out Hoyt became the sheriff. But he's not really, I don't even think his name's Hoyt, is it? He took the name badge off that guy. But I mean, again, like, this is one of those questions where it's like, we could have just guessed that ourselves, really. We didn't need to see him. Like, obviously we knew he wasn't an actual police officer. He must have stole it off someone, just like the babies and all that. But, gotta do what you gotta do with a prequel. From there, we sort of get like a short dinner table scene with Hoyt at the top of his speech and like, oh, 6 generations of Hewitts have lived inside this house. We're not going to leave our history, basically. Which, it makes sense. It gives a motivation why they don't want to leave. Like, 6 generations of your family has been here. You don't want to be like, pushed out because everyone else is leaving. And of course, you eat the sheriff. They're like, we're never going to go starving again. And they start eating the sheriff. And it's like, okay, well, they're clearly cannibals now. Just like that. That's all it takes. Next day, they pull up at the gas station, the 4 main characters from the last film. And Bailey tells her that Dean ain't going to the war. So basically she finds out as well. But, Eric's the last one to find out. He sees him burning his draft card basically on the drive there. And they get inside an argument. Biker approaches with a gun trying to rob him. And they just hit a cow and he just crash, man. They go flying. I think Chris is thrown from the car, so she's not there, but the rest of them are in it. Hoyt shows up and he just blows the biker straight away. He just shoots her point blank, man. He don't care, she's dead. Like I said, Chris is slung from the car, so she's not there, but Hoyt starts like feeling up Bailey like a breast and stuff before pulling out a piece of glass. Like, you can tell, man, he's definitely like sexually frustrated or something, man. He really is. So he takes the 3 of them and the biker's dead body back to the house, and Chrissy's left there, because she got thrown from the car. Leatherface comes out and he takes the biker body inside the house, and Hoyt ties up the 2 brothers and he basically starts torturing them for a bit. Like, they're lying about which draft card it was and all that, but you can tell Hoyt sort of knows, and he's just, playing about with him. I'd say playing about, but it's really brutal. He also says he was a prisoner of war and he had to, like, eat people to survive. So obviously he's ate people before. It isn't, like, just instant snap like that. compared to the rest of them. Chrissy's on the road and she runs into one of the bikers who's like a boyfriend that the girl who got killed basically. And he's like, oh, they took your girlfriend. And he's like, I don't care about your friends, I'm just going for my girl, that's it. So she leads him to the house. We get a funny scene. You're a big woman from the last film who had like the kid and the other woman inside the caravan. She's like walking through the field like massive. And her and the mum are like sat down having tea. And Bailey's tied underneath the table and she keeps like rattling and they're just acting like it's normal, you know, tea is going everywhere, but you know, it's fine, whatever. So the two brothers escape and try and rescue Bailey from the house and he used the fat woman he pushed her in front of the door so no one can get through. Bailey gets the keys, she runs out to the truck and starts starting it. She's driving away. We think, oh, she might get away. Nope, Leatherface just comes with a hook, grabs her and slings her out of the car, man. It just literally pulls her out of the driver's seat. And then Dean keeps running and he's caught by a bear trap inside his leg. Getting Friday Remake vibes there, but you know, he's basically down for the count. He's not getting out from that really. So skipping ahead a bit, the biker who's looking for his girlfriend, he eventually goes to the house and he sees Monty and he shoots him inside the leg. So here's where, you know, like Monty in the last film, he had no legs today. We're going to find out why he has no leg. Puts a gun to Hoyt's head. He's like, who the hell are you? What do you want, boy? He's like, I want my girl. So he's like, okay, I'll take you to the girl. He thinking it's Bailey, you know, that's the girl he wants. So he takes her upstairs. The Bailey who's tied up. He's like, that's not her. And he's like, oh shit, you don't want to see the other girl. Because clearly Bubba's been doing work on her. Chrissy goes downstairs inside the basement and she finds Eric, her boyfriend, with his arms skinned. I can't show most of this, man. This is like 2006, like, you know, was in the torture porn I should say, inside quotes, like Saw and Hostel was out around this time, so this film is definitely gory, man. So from there upstairs, Hoyt holds the biker on the chainsaw and he gets Bubba to start revving it up and he cuts through him in half, man. He cuts straight through the biker in half and Hoyt's like, you beautiful bastard. Of course, that's his first ever kill with a chainsaw, and it won't be his last as well. So Chrissy hides underneath the table inside the basement as Bubba comes down, and he just cuts through Eric with the chainsaw, man. Like straight through, and she has to, like, you know, hold her breath, which is some traumatic stuff, no doubt. And then we get that sick, I mean, I can't show any of it again, but he basically removes Eric's face. He's making his first ever face mask and he puts it on. Oh my god, it's so brutal, especially like when he skins it. Yeah, the special effects are really good with this, no doubt. Starts walking up and Hoyt compliments him on his new face. It's like, new face, I like it. Chrissy's about to leave. She literally gets to the door. She could like escape right now because no one knows she's there, but she hears Bailey crying, so she decides to go back up because, you know, she's a good friend. But I would have been the fuck out of there. I just would have got out. Because again, this is a prequel, so final girl rules don't apply. Hoyt gets Leatherface to cut Monty's leg because, you know, he got shot in it. It's like, oh, you're gonna have to cut that, and he cuts it so uneven. It's like, oh, you know what, you're gonna have to cut the other leg off as well. So this is batshit crazy stuff here, man. I don't know how he didn't bleed out, because literally he just puts a little finger to stop the blood. I ain't gonna help. And later on she's like, oh, eat your soup, it'll get you strength. But Mama asked, like, why did you do that? He's like, for balance. I just have one leg, you need them both gone. And we get the dinner table scene because, you know, and this is what I don't get. It's a prequel, right? But some of the events that happen, it feels like it's a remake of the first one again. Like, we didn't really need the dinner table scene, I don't think. But Chrissy accuses them of cousin fucking, which, you know, offends all of them. Bailey's got no teeth. I think they basically just ripped all her teeth out so she can't scream anymore. Leatherface walks in and just literally slits her throat. The mum's like, oh, set her free, child. And he just slits her throat. And it's so, like, the effects of it are real because it's a thick cut. Like, usually most films just a little slice in it, but this is like full on. Like, you see all the flesh and everything. It's really good. And a call back to the original, Chrissy jumps through the window and Leatherface is chasing after her. And it's like, it comes a time when every boy becomes a man. And from there, Dean appears and he smashes Hoyt on the floor over and over again, his head. And that's how we learn, you know, Hoyt lost his teeth. But we didn't really need to know that. But, you know, there's another one of those questions where I'm like, okay, thanks for telling us. Into the meat factory again, and she finds the keys from the owner's body who Leatherface killed before. And Dean comes and tries saving her, but he's just sawed inside the air. Leatherface literally saw. We've seen this a few times throughout the series. He saws right through and just frozen. So Chrissy gets inside the car outside, and we think, oh, she's gonna get away. But somehow Leatherface is inside the back of the seat. He must have got there before and just waited, and he cuts through her with the chainsaw. And there's like, on the other side of the road, there's a police officer and someone parked over, and the car just runs right through them. So he basically had 3 in 1 people there. And he gets out the car and he slowly walks into the darkness as the narration plays. The narration says, like, from 1969 to 1973, 33 murders took place. So he's a busy boy, a busy family, no doubt. Well, I mean, it's a prequel in it, so final girl rules don't apply, really. Like, Chrissy couldn't have survived because then the remake couldn't have happened 3 years later. You know, overall, it's a pretty good prequel. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Beginning, I give 7 out of 10. Like I said, like, some of the questions aren't really needed. I was more interested to see how Leatherface became Leatherface, but... Like, you don't even really, like, look, his original mum's pregnant, and she just gives birth in the meat factory, so I guess he was born in the place he works. It's not a bad film, it's not the worst of the series. We're going to get to the worst of the series in the next 2 weeks with Texas 3D and Leatherface. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this film inside the comments. Until next week, when we review Texas Chainsaw 3D, peace out in a bit.